He should have his own website or podcast entitled The Back of the Pack. And he could give his perspective.
What it's like to be
what it's like to be last every time. Welcome back to this week's Motorsport Podcast. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Mike.
And we are here to chat the... chat? What am I, like South African? I'm going to chat to you. That wasn't a South African accent. I can't do one.
Can you try again, perhaps?
Absolutely not. We are going to talk about the 1984 Monaco Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do my best not to just throw statistics and figures, because we know that's how I love to roll.
That's how your brain works?
Yeah.
Before we get started, though, can we talk about... So after we recorded our Monaco episode, I was reading about in 1955, because this is talking about Monaco, I'm not just like going on some random tangent. Alberto Ascari.
Yep.
So where there is a chicane currently, there wasn't before, and he drove off and his car sank in the harbor and he had to be rescued by a nearby yacht. Because I was just thinking about how we were like, oh, you know, just remove the chicane. Problem solved.
Guess not. There's a chicane for a reason.
There is a chicane for a reason. I just thought that was funny. Tragic because he died 5 days after that in Monza. But just, I love that he had to be rescued by a yacht.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, my head immediately went to Max, because, like, he would obviously be the one to drive off the road because he'd be trying to go too fast. And the rage that he would feel in his, like, soul as his car sank.
Yeah. But then maybe it would be his yacht to pull him out.
Maybe.
I don't know if that one can even get in the harbor.
I don't think it's that big.
Yeah, I don't know.
Given the price tag, it's not, like...
It's not a mega yacht?
Yeah, what's bigger, super yacht or mega yacht?
I don't know.
Anyway, there's bigger. Back to 84.
So I want to talk about the 84 Grand Prix because it is just such an interesting race because of the circumstances, who was in it, what ended up happening, and the controversy that really sort of came off of it and the excitement that came out of it. So, as I said, 1984, Monaco Grand Prix. We all know it's tight corners and exciting track. It was so back then as well. The cars were a little bit smaller, so there was room for overtakes in some spots. Mm-hmm. Not impossible to overtake, but still challenging, right? Still a very tough circuit for everybody. Mm-hmm. And in that year, it wasn't just raining. It was absolute torrential downpour. Like a monsoon.
Okay.
Like, it was crazy.
So who are we talking? Senna, Prost?
Exactly right.
Who else?
Yes. Some other key figures. So in the starting grid, I was going to get to that later on. That's okay. Well, I'm
just trying to set the stage in my head.
Yeah, no worries. So in the starting grid, we've got Nelson Piquet.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Starting in fourth. We've got Keke Rosberg, two-time world champion at the time. Starting in fifth. Niki Lauda, the current champion.
I forgot that's like his era.
Starting in sixth.
Yeah.
Right? You've got Nigel Mansell starting on there.
What a stacked field.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Alan Prost, as you said. And then you've got Senna in 13th.
Whoa, what happened to him?
This is his maiden F1 season. He's in a Tolman. So he's essentially driving comparably...
Like a Sauber?
Like a Sauber.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe even a...
More like a tractor?
Yeah. Like a Sauber last year, maybe, where it's even worse than it is.
So he didn't have a problem. He was just qualified...
Correct.
That poorly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is back in the day when there would be like 30 people in qualifying and only the top 20 would...
Oh, yeah.
So he hasn't qualified poorly because he is...
Right. He's
starting the race.
Yeah. Okay. So the tractor was a little bit faster.
A little bit faster. Yeah, exactly. But so it's, crazy competitive field, a lot of stars, and exciting stuff happens. So in the race, it's delayed for hours because they're waiting for a break in the rain. And in some test laps, they're finding it super difficult to go into the tunnel and out of the tunnel because...
because they're going from just dry to like monsoon. Yeah.
Exactly. So then Alan Prost has the idea to flood the tunnel. So they get a fire truck.
Oh no! And they actually do it.
They do it. So they soak the tunnel.
Who thought this was a good idea?
It was a good idea.
Oh, was? I was picturing them hitting walls.
No.
I was thinking that it was just going to be mass chaos in the tunnel.
No, exact opposite. It makes it so that they can maintain their temperatures. And maintain the
consistent
the
speed-ish.
limited grip levels.
Okay.
But it works. So they start the race. And it is going poorly for a lot of people.
Can you imagine, like thinking back to that conversation, him being like, guys, I have an idea.
Yeah.
And like, just the craziness, and then getting the fire department to, like,
yeah,
that just seems crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's wild. But they start the race and immediately people start crashing. And everybody is running off the track, and it's also so bad that engines are flooding. The field is shrinking massively.
Okay.
In the lead is Alan Prost.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he's struggling. He's going slowly, but he is still in the lead. Mm-hmm. Senna, who was starting in 13th and driving a slow car, starts to show his excellence.
Okay.
He is lapping seconds faster than everybody else. So much so that he is pulling through. He's making overtakes. He is just zipping past people throughout this race. By lap 31, he is in second place.
Sorry, who's in first? Still Alan
Prost.
Yeah,
There is some jostling and things like that. But in the end, basically, it's Prost in first with Senna screaming up behind him.
Okay.
Like, he is closing a 30-second gap.
Oh, I know which race this is. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's closing it, and then like it goes from a 30-second gap to a 25-second gap to a 15-second gap. Like, he's closing like 6 seconds per lap till lap 31 when Alan Prost cruises past the Marshall field and he starts waving at the race director. And he does it on lap 31, on lap 30. And then people are like, what's going on? The announcers are like, why is he signaling? Is he signaling that it's too dangerous to drive? What's going on? There's so much confusion.
Had the weather gotten worse?
It is the exact same.
Okay.
There's no change.
Okay.
Still bad.
Yeah.
But drivable.
Yeah.
Right? As proven
by Senna. Yeah.
Right? The next lap, he waves again and is like aggressively in his waves.
And is his team the entire time being like, Senna is close? Like, so he's aware that the gap is closing.
He knows the gap is closing.
Yeah.
He knows Senna is at this point, I don't know, it's something like 4 seconds behind him.
Oh,
like
so he is like rapidly closed it.
Rapidly.
Yeah. Okay.
If there's more, he's going to get overtaken.
Yeah.
Then on lap 31, the race director decides we're done here. He steps out onto the track.
But nobody else is waving?
No one else is saying a word. No one else is doing anything. Yes, Alan Prost is still in the lead, driving around cautiously. Senna is cruising around rapidly. There's still other cars in the field.
Well, the fact that Senna is able to catch up and not crash would suggest that it's drivable.
Exactly. Right? So we get to lap 31. Jackie Ikes, who is the race director, steps out onto the field and waves a red flag. Okay?
And is everyone just like, WTF?
Yeah, basically. The announcers are like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
What's going on? Is he calling the race? What's happening? Because no one knows.
Has someone crashed somewhere weird. We can't see?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this is the 80s, so they kind of leave the cars on the track for much of it, as long as it's not in too bad of a spot. So throughout the race, you can see, Senna whipping past these broken down cars. But so when Prost gets there, Prost just stops where Jackie Ikes is, waving the red flag. This is before the finish line. He just stops in the middle of the road And it's like, we're done here. Senna cruises past him like 3 seconds later to the finish line. He starts celebrating because he sees the red flag. He's like, oh, we're done. Like, I've won this.
Yeah.
Right?
I am ahead.
I'm ahead. I finished first. This is amazing. This is my first F1 win. He starts celebrating. People are going nuts. The commentators are so puzzled as to what's happening. Mm-hmm. They're like, what's going on? We don't know. Jackie Ickes, the director, decided that the race finished on lap 30 because that was the final full lap. Because he decided to finish the race.
Oh, he waved it before
the finish line.
Okay.
He has deemed it not a lap that counts, so he gives Prost the win. Mm-hmm. This obviously enrages Senna and others because, I mean...
Of course. Makes no sense.
Just totally sketchy.
Abu Dhabi 2021 all over again.
Right? So Senna is second. Prost is declared the winner. Senna second. So here comes the conspiracy theories. One is, why on earth would he make this decision? And who is benefiting from this? So Prost and Ickes apparently are buddies.
Oh, yeah.
Ickes had ties to Porsche, who at the time is supplying McLaren's engines, which is who Prost was driving for. Apparently, there's a French allegiance as well.
Oh, dear.
So people are saying, what's going on? Why have they done this? And to this day, no one actually knows why he made the call, or, I mean, he has said it was for safety reasons. But people are speculating that it was because he wanted Prost to have the win.
But he didn't win the title that year.
He did not. And that's one of the best things about this. He did not win the title. So Prost has been runner-up for the title a couple times at this point. Mm-hmm. And leading up to this race, Prost is the clear favorite. He and Lauda have split the victories for the season so far. And because this race didn't meet full distance, only half of the points are awarded. And Alain Prost loses the championship.
I'm hoping by a very small margin.
By half a point.
Which is,
what a burn.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get for cheating.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And now, if you look at his whoever who won the title that year was Niki Lauda.
Yeah.
And Lauda was already out of the race. So had they just continued the race,
he still could have gotten good points.
He would have won. Because had Senna finished first, had they finished the race, and had, let's say, Prost finished second, he would have been awarded full second place points.
Senna could have also crashed.
Could have won.
Like he could have passed him and crashed. He
exactly.
could have crashed before passing him. Like
there was they're only 31 laps in.
Yeah.
Right.
So much could have happened.
Rain could have stopped.
Yeah.
It could have, could have lightened.
He's still driving a tractor at the end of the day.
Well, exactly right.
Well, you know what? I feel like you deserved that one, Prost.
Yeah. There was a couple really funny moments in it, and one of the things that I laughed out loud in is as they're going through, and right when Jackie Ickes is waving the red flag, one of the commentators goes, "Oh, this appears to be French timing." It's just, I burst out laughing when I watched that.
You know what? You wouldn't get that if I was your FIA director.
Oh, so now you're going for race director? I thought you wanted to be head of FIA.
Well, like if I controlled the FIA,
this wouldn't happen.
I wouldn't allow.
You wouldn't let this farce to go on.
No. Just support my campaign.
Yeah. Now Ickes is reprimanded by the FIA.
So they basically admit.
I think they kind of admit that, like, he basically got his buddy to win the race and ruined this exciting event for decades to come.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like it's just a problematic race, right?
Yeah. It is an interesting one to watch, though, because, I mean, it's pretty short if you watch it because it's only 31 laps. So it's not a long race to watch.
The video quality, I feel like, would enrage me, though.
Yeah. And it is funny because whoever had the TV rights that year does a horrible job of like changing which camera to go to.
Oh, yeah.
So most of the crashes, most of the overtakes,
They're missed.
most of the excitement is missed.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing, but it is still an interesting one to watch. But that's why, I mean, exciting race, lots of controversy. It's still talked about to this day, because no one really knows why it was ended. No one's fully admitted what went on, and
well, no one's going to, because you don't want to admit to cheating.
well, exactly. But so that's my excitement on a classic Monaco. So it hasn't always been a parade of cars. There is a way to make it exciting, and that is flood the track
with a fire hose.
Yeah, but clever idea.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, I said it was Prost that suggested. It was Lauda who made the suggestion, not Prost.
I feel like that makes a little more sense with him.
Yeah.
No, Prost was probably like, let's just parade. Well, this is before the safety car too, right? He probably would have been like, let's just parade around
I feel
the safety car.
Like he was probably arguing to just go with qualifying classification and be like, let's just say whoever qualified first wins.
Oh, cheaters never prosper.
No, and he just deserves to lose the title that year.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I like it.
I know. Good one, right?
It is a good one. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like there are so few sports where the rules are either disregarded or misinterpreted, like as often as it happens in F1.
Yeah, I think as a development class with the cars, it's so much easier to, like, if there's any type of gray area in the rule, yeah. I think they build to the fastest possible and then ask for forgiveness after the fact.
Yeah, but even just like, I'm thinking like application of penalties and...
Oh, yeah.
I think that, I mean, I know I've mentioned the Lewis Abu Dhabi race, but like even there...
Still burns you up.
Still burns. But I just feel like there's so many examples of that, even just like the penalties of Max overtaking off track.
Yeah.
There's just so much inconsistency in the application of the rules. I think I would like to see that change.
Yeah, some of the principals have been arguing for it for a while, but the stewards is not a full-time paid position.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't understand how you have a multi-billion-dollar industry
with part-timers.
With part-timers who, like,
so
how ridiculous.
If you elected me as your FIA president, I would make that change. They would be full-time with benefits, vacation time, the whole gamut. Yeah.
They'd have sick leave. And
we would have excellent training. They would know those rule books front to back.
In and out, yeah. I feel like they'd be forced to watch all former F1 races.
And I would grade them on that.
Yep.
So everyone would, do their penalties, apply them, and then we would vote on if that was correct or not, or shame people in taking the wrong approach.
Public shaming?
Yes.
Yeah, public shamings. I like your strategy.
I think I would be excellent.
Yeah.
They would all be very well prepared. They wouldn't cave to the whims of certain team principals.
Yeah, I think that's what's most frustrating, right? Is you can see influence.
Absolutely. And you can see that they hate certain drivers.
Yeah.
Like K-Mag.
Poor K-Mag. Poor K-Mag. Just trying to get around the track, Like,
with his elbows out.
He's just trying. And they are ranking up the penalties, just giving him everything.
Did you see that if my Valtteri starts the next race, the Canadian Grand Prix, for Aston Martin, I was like, who is it? That he's going to get a grid place penalty?
Yeah. I know.
Oh, my. And
I hope he gets it.
You hope he gets a grid place penalty?
No, I hope he gets the drive.
Yeah, but I feel like there should be some sort of expiration on the grid place penalties.
You'd think, but I guess not.
That's a bit ridiculous.
It is, especially like completely different team.
Yeah.
Like, so one team's actions is now could potentially now penalize another team.
Different team, different year.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It is weird. Yeah, I do hope he gets that call, though. Not that I wish Lance any ill will. I just am not a Lance fan.
You've proven that.
And I think
You are a Nicholas Latifi fan.
I'm going to disagree with that comment. I have not a Latifi. I don't think Latifi actually ever had a fan.
I bet you did. His mom.
Other than his, I was going to say other than his parents.
He has some fans. You know, there's some fan that has a Latifi shirt.
I would love if this was a radio call-in show, and then we could invite callers to ring us up and say, "Hey."
I don't think we'd want to do that because I don't think they would like me with my unpopular opinions.
Yeah, get some French Canadians calling in.
Maybe I am just the voice of the people that feels like they are voiceless in their dislike of all of these people. No? Fine. It's fine. I'm just very secure in my decisions.
And you're very opinionated.
Yes.
Yeah. And you love to hold a grudge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember it.
Yeah. I feel like if we went through the grid right now, there's a good several drivers where you have a strong grudge against them.
Define several.
Well, Max is one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Too
many things to list.
Biggest being 2021, though.
Yeah. I didn't like him before that, though.
No. Yeah, you didn't like his driving style. You haven't, like, ever.
No.
Yeah, you don't like the sort of either we all crash or you give me space mindset.
Yeah.
Lando, you're not a fan of.
Yeah.
Again, really for a controversial statement he made towards Lewis.
Yep. I back Lewis. Okay.
Yeah.
He's my ride or die.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of any of the others, actually.
Liam Lawson.
Lawson, yeah. That's just straight up likability, though. Like, he's never done anything that has enraged you so much.
Oh my gosh, all of it. I feel like all of it. Everything he's done has enraged me. I have not liked him ever.
Yeah, he's never made a comment that you agreed with or liked.
But I can't think of anyone else I don't. I'm not a Yuki fan.
No.
I've never been a Yuki fan.
No.
I'm not a huge fan of Pierre Gasly.
Why?
I just... I have reasons.
I thought you would.
Going back to his like Red Bull days when he was the second driver and he got moved back to AlphaTauri at the time.
Yeah.
I just feel like he handled that transition poorly. I understand it would be like a huge blow to him.
Yeah.
But he just came across as like very entitled. Like that was his seat and I don't know. But it's like you crashed the car a bunch, Pierre. That is why you got moved down.
But I think in the end, it probably was for his betterment because he was the first one to really escape away from
the curse.
The curse, as you've stated earlier, is, he got out.
Yeah, and I feel like I like Esteban more than Pierre. And I feel like Esteban was kind of mistreated in favor of Pierre. I don't know. It's like this whole like allegiance thing. Like I like somebody better. They wrong my guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like I find Pierre much more tolerable than the other three.
Right.
Like the other three I just straight up don't like.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could choose to have dinner with any of them, the option would be to not attend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if any of them are handing out free autographs, you're like,
just walk past.
Not interested, thank you.
Or I would take it and just rip it up in front of them.
That would be incredible to see.
Yeah. Lando would probably cry.
He might.
And then I think I like everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Nico Hülkenberg.
No.
But I don't dislike him.
No.
I don't like Lance. I don't like... I just think it's like, move on, buddy. You got your billions.
Yeah.
Go get some good hobbies.
I really do hope Valtteri gets the seat for Canada. I understand that Lance, apparently the procedure's completed and he is expected to race in Canada.
But it's like, did you not learn anything from the last time? Okay, so assuming it's the same problem.
Yeah.
You rushed it last time.
Yeah. do you think now is the time to rush it again?
Yeah. I just think that that's a bit silly.
Yeah. And I know it's his home race, so, you know, he wants to be there for his fans.
His mom.
Yeah. His whole family will be in attendance. Yeah, all the extended family will be there.
I feel like Lance has more fans than Latifi.
Yeah.
And like, what happened to Latifi? Like, I feel like he just vanished.
He did not just vanish.
He reminds me of a cartoon character. Did he go back to school? I feel like he went to school. I feel like I read that somewhere. He looks like if you were to draw a French bank robber in a cartoon.
But he doesn't have a little mustache.
He doesn't, but he's got like some intense eyebrows and a nose to him. And he's got like shifty eyes.
He does have shifty eyes. Yeah, I had read something about...
No, he went off into obscurity. You know why there's no articles? Because nobody cares. That's why you will not find articles about Nicholas Latifi.
Yeah, the first thing that came up was his own website, which talks about his take on things, and it's like, I don't need to read that.
His take on like current races. Oh my gosh! Subscribe me, sign me up. I want to read that.
Yeah. No, it's old. It's
You know what?
It's old.
He should have his own website or podcast entitled "The Back of the Pack." And he could give his perspective.
What it's like to be
what it's like to be last every time by 30 seconds. All the blue flags he encountered.
Strategies to avoid drivers when under blue flags.
Yeah.
Mazepin would be his first subscriber. He'd be a guest host.
Right? You're like, well, when you're 7 laps down.
You don't have to worry.
Here's how I handled it. You like it, huh?
I do.
It'd be an interesting take. A take that probably has not been explored.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of race drivers don't want to have that take and aren't proud
Don't want to be guests on that.
No.
They could have Mick on also. Schumacher.
Yeah. But he moved on to other series, though, right? Like Schumacher does endurance racing, and so
They could have Logie.
Yeah.
So many options.
There are options.
Just give up. You're not going to find it. He's done nothing.
You know what? He went back to business school, okay?
Did you find that, or are you just listening to my rumor now?
No,
It's weird that I knew that, right? How did I know?
Because you've been Googling him. You wanted to...
I was trying to research my opponent.
Yeah.
So I can know some information when I beat him.
Where his weaknesses are on track. Yep. Turns out it was everywhere. Back of the pack. My God. I love it so much.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I'll have to send this episode to him so he can have the idea and start it up.
I'd listen to it. Be fascinating.
It would be fascinating. I feel like you could get some good guests on there too.
You totally could.
Right?
Jack Doohan.
Yeah.
What's his face? The little guy who was from Formula E.
Oh, Nick DeVries.
Nick DeVries.
Yeah. He would have an interesting perspective.
He would. Yeah.
Right?
From the front of the pack to the back.
And the back of the pack. Yeah.
Here's what it's like to be a champion and a loser.
And then move into a loser. Yeah.
Yeah. Harsh.
That's a tough one.
Harsh takes on this Monday afternoon. I got nothing else.
That's it.
So we will be back next week to chat about Oscar Piastri's win in the... Is it called the Montreal Grand Prix? No, Canadian Grand Prix. The Canadian Grand Prix.
Calling it out. I like it.
Yep. All right. Adios, amigos. Motorsport Podcast is a Vorbeck Media production. Follow us on Instagram at Motorsport Pod. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or our YouTube page, Motorsport Pod. Bye.